Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's worst nightmare just became reality, and it's a royal betrayal that no one saw coming. In a stunning move, Prince William has approved a radical change to Archie and Lilibet's titles, stripping away the royal completely. Now, the children of the Duke and Duchess of Sussex are known only as Harrison and Diana, a blow that sends shockwaves through the royal family. But why has Prince William made this drastic decision? And what does it mean for Harry and Meghan's future in the monarchy? Stay tuned as we uncover the royal rift that could change everything for the Sussexes and the explosive fallout that no one expected. Before we continue, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell for updates. What would you do if, out of nowhere, your children were stripped of their royal titles, no longer seen as heirs to a prestigious legacy, but simply ordinary citizens? Imagine the world watching as this personal, yet public, decision is made. How would it feel to have your identity, your family's legacy, suddenly erased? For Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, this was not just a hypothetical scenario. It was a very real possibility that would have deep emotional and public repercussions. In a shocking turn of events, Prince William, the future king, approved the decision to remove the royal titles from his niece and nephew, Archie Harrison and Lilibet Diana. The royal family, famous for its centuries-old traditions and solemn responsibilities, seemed to undergo a dramatic shift in perspective. What had once been a birthright and symbol of British monarchy was now discarded. No longer would Archie and Lilibet carry the royal label, a move that sent shockwaves through the royal family and sparked an outcry in public opinion. As we dig deeper into this stunning development, the questions that naturally arise are: why did Prince William take this drastic step? What does this mean for the future of the monarchy? And how does this move affect Harry and Meghan, who are already embroiled in ongoing tensions with the royal establishment? And most importantly, what does it say about the changing landscape of the royal family's identity? The emotional toll on Harry and Meghan is evident. After years of struggles, public feuds, and media scrutiny, this decision represents another chapter in their already tumultuous relationship with the royal family. For them, it might feel like the final blow in a series of personal betrayals. After all, this isn't just about titles. It's about the erosion of their children's place in a long-standing institution that holds both power and influence in the world. But Prince William's approval of this title change is not a random decision. It is part of a larger, more calculated effort to reshape the monarchy. William, as the next in line for the throne, has the responsibility of steering the future of the royal family in a direction he believes is best. This is a move that goes beyond family disagreements. This decision is political, strategic, and meant to send a clear message, not just to Harry and Meghan, but to the public at large. Archie and Lilibet, once perceived as future players in the royal drama, are now left to navigate their identities in a world where they no longer hold the royal titles that once signified their importance. Their futures, and the choices they will make, are now uncertain. But perhaps, in a strange way, this decision will grant them the freedom they never had, freedom from royal constraints, but also freedom from the expectations that come with being royal. In a world that's always watching, the removal of their titles might just be the one thing that allows them to lead a life of their own, far from the shadows of royal duties and the harsh spotlight of media attention. For Prince William, the weight of this decision is heavy, but it is also a declaration of the changes he is willing to make. The royal family, in his eyes, must evolve to stay relevant in a modern world. No longer can the past dictate every action, every title, every move made. As the royal family faces new challenges, these changes are perhaps necessary for the monarchy to remain a respected institution. But with every change comes opposition, and with every royal decision, there are consequences. The British monarchy, despite its rich history, is not immune to criticism. The public, the press, and even the family itself have their own reactions to this bombshell decision. Will this decision cause a further rift between Prince William and his brother Harry? Or will it ultimately solidify William's vision for a modern monarchy? These are the questions that are swirling in the aftermath of this shocking decision. In the next few sections, we will break down the deeper reasons behind this title change, its effects on the royal family, and how it will alter the course of both Harry and Meghan's lives and the monarchy itself. We'll also take a look at the emotional fallout for Archie and Lilibet, who were caught in the crossfire of this royal shakeup, and how their future now stands in stark contrast to what was once promised to them. The monarchy, a symbol of tradition, is facing a crossroads. Prince William's decision regarding the titles of his niece and nephew is not just a family matter. It is a reflection of the changing landscape of the royal family, and it signifies a shift in how the monarchy will function in the future. Will it continue to be an institution rooted in history, or will it redefine itself to meet the demands of a modern world? The decision about Archie and Lilibet's titles is only one piece of a larger puzzle that will shape the future of the British royal family. Royal titles are more than just words on paper. They carry with them centuries of history, prestige, and responsibility. From the moment a royal is born, the world takes note of the title they carry, as it signifies not only their place within the royal family but also their duty to the country and the legacy they represent. In the British monarchy, titles are not merely ceremonial. They are political, historical, and deeply symbolic. At the heart of this royal system lies the idea of succession, the line of heirs to the throne. Each title, each position, is designed to reflect a person's rank in this line, ensuring that the monarchy's power and influence are maintained across generations. The significance of titles can be seen in the very structure of the royal family. For centuries, the titles of prince, princess, duke, and duchess have been passed down through the bloodline, with the specific titles of each family member representing their place in the order of succession. But these titles are not just inherited, they are also earned, granted, and sometimes taken away. For members of the royal family, their titles are an essential part of their identity. They are symbols of duty, service, and a connection to the past. The importance of these titles cannot be overstated, as they define not only the individual but also the perception of the monarchy itself. For many, the most important title in the British royal family is that of prince or princess. These titles are bestowed upon the children of the monarch and are traditionally given to the eldest son and his descendants. However, this system is not set in stone, and over the years, there have been instances where the rules regarding royal titles have been altered to reflect changing societal norms or shifts in royal priorities. One of the most notable examples of this comes from the early 20th century, when King George V, in an effort to simplify the royal hierarchy, decreed that only the children and grandchildren of the monarch would hold the title of prince or princess. Prior to this change, royal titles were often bestowed upon other members of the royal family, leading to a complicated and sometimes confusing system. The decision to limit the use of the title of prince and princess helped to streamline the royal family structure, making it clearer who was in line for the throne and who was not. But even within this more simplified system, the importance of titles remained unchanged. A royal title was more than just a reflection of one's position in the royal family. It was a reflection of their role in society. Royals were expected to serve as public figures, embodying the ideals of the monarchy and representing the country on the world stage. The title was a symbol of the monarchy's authority and legitimacy, a constant reminder of the power that the royal family held over the British people and the Commonwealth. This brings us to the modern-day situation of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's children, Archie and Lilibet. Born into a family steeped in tradition, the two children were automatically given royal titles. The moment they were born, they were seen as part of the royal legacy, with the title of prince and princess affixed to their names. These titles were not just symbolic, they carried with them the weight of history and expectation. For Archie and Lilibet, their titles were a birthright, a clear indication that they were part of the royal family's future. But that, as we now know, has changed. The decision to remove the royal label from Archie and Lilibet's titles is a significant one, and it underscores the tension between the royal family's past and its future. For generations, titles have been a key part of the monarchy's identity. But in the modern world, with its ever-changing values and demands, can the royal family continue to cling to these traditions? Or must it evolve in order to remain relevant? Prince William, as the future king, has made it clear that he is willing to make changes to the royal family structure in order to ensure its continued survival. His decision to remove the royal title from his niece and nephew is just the beginning of a series of potential reforms that could reshape the monarchy for years to come. This decision is not just about Archie and Lilibet. It is about the future of the entire royal family and its role in modern society. The title of prince and princess has always been more than just a label. It has been a mark of distinction and a reminder of the royal family's authority. To strip this title from Archie and Lilibet is to send a message about the changing nature of the monarchy. It suggests that the royal family is no longer bound by the same traditions that have defined it for centuries. The decision to remove the title also speaks to the desire for a more streamlined, less hierarchical royal family, one that reflects the values of the modern world, where titles and positions are not as important as personal merit and public service. But this decision is also deeply personal. For Prince William, it represents a shift in how he views his role as future king. He has long been seen as a more traditional figure within the royal family, a stabilizing force amid the turbulence of recent years. But this move, to strip his niece and nephew of their royal titles, signals that he is ready to take a more active role in shaping the monarchy's future. His decision to make such a bold move shows that he is not afraid to break from tradition in order to ensure the survival of the monarchy. The decision has also raised questions about the future of Archie and Lilibet, who will now grow up without the titles that many expected them to inherit. For the children of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, this decision marks a turning point in their lives. They will no longer be seen as members of the royal family in the traditional sense, and their future prospects may be shaped by this change. While this may give them the freedom to live their lives outside the royal spotlight, it also leaves them without the protection and privilege that come with being part of the royal family. For many, this decision marks the beginning of a new era in the British royal family, one where titles are no longer as important as they once were. The monarchy is changing, and the decision to remove the titles of Archie and Lilibet is just one example of the ways in which Prince William and his generation are shaping the future of the institution. As we explore the implications of this decision, we will look at the history of royal titles and the role they have played in shaping the monarchy. We will also examine the personal impact this decision will have on Prince Harry, Meghan Markle, and their children, as well as the broader implications for the royal family's future. In recent years, the British royal family has experienced a shift in dynamics, a subtle but unmistakable change in the balance of power. While Queen Elizabeth II remained a towering figure of authority, the younger generation has slowly, but surely, begun to assert its influence. At the heart of this generational shift stands Prince William, the future king, who is steadily asserting his role as the leader of the monarchy's modern face. The decision to remove royal titles from his niece and nephew, Archie and Lilibet, is not just an isolated incident, it is a reflection of the broader reimagining of the monarchy that Prince William envisions. Prince William's rise to prominence within the royal family has been gradual, but it has been deliberate. As the eldest son of Prince Charles, he is next in line for the throne and thus bears a tremendous amount of responsibility. But beyond the formal duties expected of him, William has also taken it upon himself to modernize the monarchy and ensure that it remains relevant in a rapidly changing world. His leadership has already been tested in numerous ways, from his work with various charitable causes to his handling of the royal family's public image. However, it's in his role as the future monarch that his influence has truly begun to take shape. Prince William's decision to strip Archie and Lilibet of their royal titles speaks to his desire to reshape the monarchy's identity. This is not a move made in haste or driven by petty family drama. Instead, it is a carefully calculated decision aimed at realigning the royal family's image, while also asserting William's authority within the family. To understand this shift, it's important to first examine the royal family's long-standing tradition of hierarchy. For centuries, the monarchy has been structured around a clear line of succession, with each royal family member's title signifying their place within this line. From the monarch down to the younger children and their offspring, titles were a way of ensuring order and organization within the family. But as the royal family's role in modern Britain has evolved, so too has the significance of these titles. In recent years, there has been a growing push within the royal family to streamline the hierarchy and reduce the emphasis on titles. Prince Charles has long been in favor of simplifying the monarchy and reducing the number of working royals, a stance that was met with mixed reactions. But it is Prince William who has truly embraced the idea of a more modern, efficient royal family, one that is less defined by tradition and more focused on service to the public. William's decision to remove the royal titles from Archie and Lilibet reflects this desire for a monarchy that is less focused on inherited privilege and more focused on personal merit. The move is symbolic of William's vision for a future where titles are not automatically granted based on birthright but are instead tied to one's role and responsibilities within the royal family. This shift represents a departure from centuries of tradition, where royal titles were passed down from one generation to the next without question. For Prince William, this decision is not just about his personal beliefs. it is also about the broader health and sustainability of the monarchy. As the world changes, so too must the institution of the monarchy. The public's expectations of the royal family have evolved over the years. Where once royals were expected to be distant, almost untouchable figures, today's public wants to see them as more relatable, more human. Prince William understands this shift and is keenly aware of the need for the royal family to adapt. One of the key challenges facing the modern monarchy is the issue of public perception. While the British royal family has long been an institution of power and tradition, it is also an institution that is subject to public scrutiny. In the age of social media, every move made by a royal is captured, analyzed, and broadcast to the world. This constant attention has made it more difficult for the monarchy to maintain the same level of authority it once enjoyed. By removing Archie and Lilibet's royal titles, Prince William is signaling that the royal family must remain relevant in a world where people are less interested in tradition for tradition's sake. This decision is also a response to the ongoing public scrutiny of the royal family, particularly in the aftermath of the Sussexes' exit from royal duties. With the monarchy facing increasing pressure to modernize, Prince William is using this opportunity to redefine what it means to be royal. This decision also carries political implications. While the royal family is constitutionally neutral, its actions and decisions still carry weight in British society. By making this move, Prince William is sending a message about how he intends to govern as king. He is asserting his vision for a monarchy that is more streamlined, more focused on public service, and less concerned with maintaining outdated hierarchies. At the same time, this decision is a direct response to the growing divide between Prince Harry and the royal family. The tension between Harry and the rest of the royal family has been well documented, with Harry and Meghan Markle stepping back from their roles as senior royals in 2020. Since then, the couple has been vocal about their desire for independence from the monarchy, and their exit from royal duties has only fueled the ongoing tensions. By removing their children's royal titles, Prince William is drawing a line in the sand, a clear demarcation between those who embrace the traditional duties of the royal family and those who seek to break away from it. But while the decision may be seen as a move to solidify William's authority, it is also a move designed to preserve the unity of the royal family. Despite the rift between Harry and the rest of the family, the monarchy itself must remain strong. By taking this action, William is showing that he is willing to make tough decisions for the good of the institution, even if it means making enemies within his own family. The implications of this decision extend beyond just the royal family. It will undoubtedly have a significant impact on the monarchy's relationship with the British public. As the future king, William is keenly aware that the monarchy must evolve in order to survive. This decision is a part of his larger plan to modernize the royal family and ensure its continued relevance in the 21st century. While the removal of Archie and Lilibet's royal titles may seem like a small decision in the grand scheme of things, it is one that carries deep significance. For Prince William, this is just the beginning of a series of changes that he believes are necessary to ensure the monarchy's future. As the royal family faces increasing pressure to adapt to modern times, Prince William is determined to lead the way. The removal of titles is a clear message that the monarchy must evolve, and that change, while difficult, is sometimes necessary for survival. To understand the significance of Prince William's decision to strip Archie and Lilibet of their royal titles, it is crucial to first recognize the profound weight that these titles carry in the British royal family. For centuries, royal titles have been synonymous with power, respect, and legitimacy. Being born into the royal family means inheriting not just a name, but a public role, steeped in history and duty. The royal label attached to the names of Archie and Lilibet was not just a formality. It represented their place in line to the throne and their position within the greater British monarchy. However, Prince William's decision to remove the royal from their titles was not a random or hasty move. It was a carefully considered decision that reflected not only his views on the monarchy's future but also his personal beliefs and the political realities the royal family now faces. This move was about more than just the titles themselves. It was about recalibrating the monarchy's role in a world where tradition often clashes with modernity. There are several key reasons behind William's decision, each of which provides a unique insight into his vision for the monarchy's future. First and foremost, this move signals William's desire to modernize the royal family. While the monarchy has long been rooted in tradition, there has been increasing pressure on royals to adapt to the changing social and political climate. The British public, as well as the global audience, have become more vocal about their expectations for the royal family to modernize and address contemporary issues. The days of a strictly traditional and hierarchical royal family, where titles were handed down unchallenged, are increasingly seen as outdated. Prince William is well aware of the scrutiny the monarchy faces. His approach to modernizing the royal family is rooted in a desire to make the monarchy more relatable, transparent, and connected to the public. The royal family has long been seen as a symbol of power and privilege, and this perception has sometimes led to criticism, particularly in the age of social media and constant public scrutiny. In the face of such scrutiny, William's decision to strip his niece and nephew of their royal titles is a bold step toward redefining what it means to be a member of the royal family. By removing the royal from Archie and Lilibet's titles, Prince William is effectively signaling that the monarchy is no longer solely defined by inherited titles. The decision is a move away from the idea of royal titles as mere symbols of status. Instead, it suggests that personal merit and public service will become more important than simply being born into the royal family. This shift in priorities is likely to resonate with the public, many of whom are increasingly disillusioned with traditional systems of power. Furthermore, the decision to remove the titles also speaks to William's desire to limit the number of working royals. In recent years, there has been a push to reduce the number of people performing official duties on behalf of the royal family. This move is, in part, a response to the growing number of royals and the strain it places on the monarchy's resources and public image. By removing Archie and Lilibet's royal titles, William is making it clear that he wants to streamline the royal family and ensure that those who are given titles and responsibilities are fully committed to the role they play in public life. The removal of the titles is also a direct reflection of William's evolving relationship with his brother, Prince Harry. The rift between Harry and the rest of the royal family has been widely documented, and the decision to remove the titles can be seen as a direct response to Harry's departure from royal duties. For William, this move could be a way to draw a clearer line between the working royals and those who have stepped away from their royal roles. By removing the titles, William is asserting control over the future of the monarchy and reasserting the importance of duty and commitment to the institution. Prince William's decision also reflects the monarchy's changing role in modern Britain. While the monarchy remains an institution of immense historical and cultural significance, it is no longer as politically powerful as it once was. The role of the monarch is now largely ceremonial, with the day-to-day governance of the country falling under the purview of elected officials. In this new political reality, the monarchy must adapt in order to remain relevant. By removing the titles, William is signaling that the royal family must be seen as more than just an institution of privilege. It must be an institution that serves the people and reflects the values of contemporary society. The personal motivations behind William's decision are also worth considering. As the next in line for the throne, William understands the immense responsibility that comes with the role of monarch. He's also deeply committed to ensuring that the monarchy remains strong and respected for generations to come. In making this decision, he is not only asserting his authority within the royal family, but also demonstrating his ability to make difficult decisions for the greater good of the institution. For William, this is likely a painful decision, as it directly affects his relationship with his brother Harry. However, it is also a necessary one. As the future king, William must navigate the delicate balance between preserving the traditions of the monarchy and ensuring its survival in a rapidly changing world. By removing the royal titles from Archie and Lilibet, William is setting the stage for a more streamlined and modern monarchy, one that is better equipped to face the challenges of the 21st century. The move also raises important questions about the future of royal titles. Will this decision become a precedent for future generations of the royal family? If so, how will it affect the children of other royals who may be born into the family in the future? Will there be further efforts to reduce the number of working royals, or is this a one-time change? The answer to these questions will shape the future of the British royal family and its role in British society. Moreover, this decision brings attention to the larger issue of royal privileges and responsibilities. In a world where titles are increasingly questioned and public scrutiny is ever present, the notion of inherited privilege is coming under greater scrutiny. Prince William's decision represents an attempt to balance the royal family's responsibilities with the evolving expectations of the public. It is an effort to redefine what it means to be royal and to move away from the notion that titles alone should grant access to the privileges of being part of the monarchy. In conclusion, the decision to remove the royal titles from Archie and Lilibet is a powerful statement about the future of the monarchy. It is a reflection of Prince William's vision for a more modern, relevant, and streamlined royal family, one that prioritizes duty and service over inherited privilege. While this decision is likely to have emotional and personal repercussions, it is ultimately part of a larger effort to ensure the monarchy's continued survival and respect in an ever-changing world. When Prince William made the unexpected decision to remove the royal from the titles of his niece and nephew, Archie and Lilibet, the move reverberated not only throughout the British royal family but also through the corridors of Buckingham Palace and beyond. While the public reaction was swift and intense, it is behind the palace doors that the most significant conversations likely took place. The royal family, with its carefully constructed image, would have undoubtedly faced a mix of emotions and differing viewpoints in the wake of this bold move. The reaction of each royal family member was not just a personal one, but also a reflection of their role within the monarchy and the complex relationships that exist within the institution. King Charles, as the reigning monarch, had the ultimate say on matters of royal titles. Yet, it was Prince William, who was next in line, who ultimately made the decision, signaling his growing influence within the family. How did the king react to this unilateral move? And what about the rest of the royal family? How did they feel about the potential fallout this decision could cause? It's important to first recognize that within the royal family, tradition and hierarchy play a significant role in determining how decisions are made. While there is no doubt that the monarchy has seen its fair share of public scandals and internal disagreements, the act of stripping titles from family members is a highly sensitive issue. The titles of prince and princess have long been seen as more than just ceremonial. They symbolize a person's place within the royal family and the line of succession. For King Charles, this would have been a particularly difficult decision to accept. As the father of Prince William, Charles would have been torn between supporting his son's decision and maintaining the unity and continuity of the royal family. On one hand, King Charles, as monarch, has always held the power to grant and remove titles, and as a father, he would undoubtedly want to support his son's authority and decisions. On the other hand, King Charles has long been a proponent of maintaining tradition and the dignity of the royal family, so it is plausible that he may have found the decision unsettling. In all likelihood, there would have been a series of private conversations between Charles and William. As the reigning monarch, Charles would have had a vested interest in ensuring that any significant decisions about royal titles and family roles were in line with the monarchy's long-term vision. Given the highly public nature of the royal family, such decisions would need to be handled carefully. While the king may not have been pleased by the suddenness of the move, he likely understood that it was driven by Prince William's vision of a modernized monarchy, one that is more reflective of public expectations. For Camilla, queen consort, the decision may have been more challenging to navigate, given her own position within the royal family. As someone who has long had to deal with public scrutiny and criticism due to her past relationship with King Charles, Camilla would have been acutely aware of the impact such a controversial decision could have on the family's public image. As queen consort, she holds a key position in the royal family, and any decision that threatens to fracture the family's unity could be seen as detrimental to the monarchy's public standing. While Camilla may have personally supported William's desire to modernize the monarchy, she would also have had to carefully weigh the ramifications of removing titles, especially when it comes to the royal children. Princess Anne, another key figure within the royal family, would have likely been one of the more steadfast supporters of Prince William's decision. As a member of the royal family who has consistently upheld the traditional values of duty and service, and would have understood the significance of ensuring that royal titles are tied to duty rather than just birthright. She has often been described as pragmatic and fiercely loyal to the monarchy, and it is likely that she viewed the decision as a step toward ensuring the family's long-term survival. However, the reaction from Prince Harry and Meghan Markle would have been the most intense. The decision to strip their children of their royal titles was, without a doubt, a direct blow to the couple's already strained relationship with the rest of the family. Since stepping down from their royal duties in 2020, Harry and Meghan have had a tumultuous relationship with the monarchy, one marked by public disagreements and personal revelations. For Harry, This decision would have been especially painful, as it signals a complete break from the family he was once so closely connected to. The emotional toll on Harry and Meghan cannot be overstated. For years, they have expressed their frustration with the royal family's inability to adapt to the modern world and their desire for greater freedom from the constraints of royal life. In their minds, the titles of their children represented not just their status within the royal family, but also their place in the future of the monarchy. To have those titles removed was not just an administrative decision, it was a stark reminder that their children's futures would be forever separated from the royal institution they had once been so closely tied to. Moreover, Harry and Meghan's personal views on the monarchy have been well documented, particularly through their various interviews and public statements. In the past, they have spoken about the challenges they faced within the royal family, including the lack of support and the media scrutiny. For them, the removal of Archie and Lilibet's royal titles likely felt like the final act in a series of personal betrayals. The titles represented a connection to the monarchy, and without them, it would be more difficult for the couple to claim any ties to the institution they once sought to represent. The public reaction to Prince William's decision was equally polarized. On one hand, many members of the British public supported the idea of a modernized monarchy, one that is less focused on inherited titles and more concerned with serving the people. This move was seen by some as a necessary step to ensure that the royal family remains relevant in a rapidly changing world. For others, however, the decision was viewed as a harsh move that further alienated Harry and Meghan, and by extension, their children, from the royal fold. It was also seen by some as a move that could further strain the already fragile relationship between the Sussexes and the rest of the family. The media, too, played a major role in shaping the reaction to this decision. The British press, which has long had a contentious relationship with Harry and Meghan, seized upon the news as another opportunity to further drive a wedge between the Sussexes and the royal family. Tabloid headlines and news stories about the decision were filled with speculation and sensationalism, further intensifying the public debate over whether this move was a fair one or just another chapter in a long-running royal drama. Ultimately, the decision to remove Archie and Lilibet's royal titles was a complex one, and the reactions within the royal family were no less complicated. Prince William, as the future king, acted in a way he believed was necessary for the monarchy's survival. However, this move also served to highlight the ongoing rift between him and his brother, Prince Harry. As the monarchy looks ahead to the future, it's clear that the decisions made now will shape its legacy for generations to come. But for Harry, Meghan, and their children, this decision will mark a painful chapter in their lives, a chapter defined by the tension between tradition and modernity, family loyalty, and personal autonomy. In today's world, where news travels at lightning speed and media outlets are constantly vying for attention, the role of the press in shaping public opinion has never been more significant. This was especially true in the case of Prince William's decision to remove the royal titles from Archie and Lilibet. In the blink of an eye, headlines were splashed across newspapers, websites, and social media, each one dissecting the move and offering varying interpretations. The press, both in the UK and around the world, played a pivotal role in how this decision was perceived by the public, fueling the ongoing debate surrounding the future of the monarchy. From the moment the news broke, the British tabloids pounced on the story. Known for their sensational headlines and controversial takes on royal matters, these media outlets were quick to frame the decision as yet another public humiliation for Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. The removal of Archie and Lilibet's royal titles was seen as a dramatic and final move to sever the Sussexes' ties to the royal family, an action that many tabloids portrayed as both personal and punitive. The media, with its deep interest in the royal family's inner workings, quickly capitalized on the emotional and dramatic potential of the story. For the British tabloids, the timing of the decision couldn't have been more perfect. The media has long had a contentious relationship with Harry and Meghan, ever since they first stepped into the public spotlight. The couple's decision to leave the royal family and seek a more independent life has been met with a mixture of support and scorn. In many ways, the press has treated the Sussexes' departure as a betrayal of the monarchy, and the removal of their children's titles only seemed to add fuel to that fire. The headlines practically wrote themselves. Harry and Meghan's children stripped of royal titles. Is this the final blow? Prince William removes royal title from Archie and Lilibet. A new era for the monarchy? And the royal family draws a line. No room for Harry and Meghan's children. These headlines were designed to evoke a sense of finality, as though the royal family had decided once and for all that Harry and Meghan, and by extension, their children, had no place in the future of the monarchy. The media's portrayal of this event reinforced the idea that the rift between the Sussexes and the royal family was deepening, and there was no turning back. But while the press eagerly covered the sensational elements of the story, public opinion was far more divided. For some members of the British public, the removal of Archie and Lilibet's royal titles was seen as a positive step. The decision to streamline the royal family and reduce the number of people with official titles was viewed as an effort to modernize the monarchy and make it more in line with contemporary values. Many believed that titles should not be automatically handed out to children simply because of their birthright, but rather should be earned through public service and commitment to the royal duties. For these individuals, the removal of the titles symbolized a shift away from a system that many viewed as outdated. It represented a move toward a more egalitarian monarchy, one that was less about inherited privilege and more about personal merit. This shift in perspective was especially important in a world where the traditional concept of royalty is increasingly being questioned. The decision to strip the titles from Archie and Lilibet was seen as a necessary reform, one that would ensure the monarchy's continued relevance in the 21st century. However, not everyone saw it this way. For others, the decision was deeply troubling. They viewed it as an unnecessary act of punishment against two innocent children who had no say in the matter. The removal of their titles was seen as a personal attack on Harry and Meghan, a move that was driven more by family politics and personal grievances than by any legitimate concerns about the future of the monarchy. Critics argued that the royal family, as a public institution, should be above petty squabbles and that the decision to strip the titles was a dangerous precedent that could have long-term consequences for the royal family's reputation. Some commentators also raised concerns about the message this decision sent to the public. For many, it seemed like the monarchy was punishing Harry and Meghan for their desire to live life on their own terms. After all, the couple had made it clear that they no longer wished to be bound by the constraints of royal duties and the expectations placed on them as senior members of the family. The press had long painted them as rebels, and this decision only seemed to reinforce that narrative. By removing their children's titles, the royal family appeared to be sending a message that those who defy tradition will face consequences. The public debate over this decision was further complicated by the ongoing media frenzy surrounding the royal family. The press, ever eager to profit from scandal, spun the story in a way that heightened emotions on all sides. For Harry and Meghan supporters, the removal of the titles was seen as a vindictive act, one that proved just how deeply the royal family resented the couple's decision to leave. For those who viewed the Sussexes' departure as a betrayal, the removal of the titles was seen as a justified and necessary step. As the story continued to develop, social media platforms became a battleground for public opinion. On Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, the hashtag royal title debate quickly trended, with users expressing their opinions about the decision. Some defended the royal family's move, arguing that it was time for the monarchy to adapt to the modern world. Others, however, expressed outrage, accusing the royal family of being cruel and vindictive. In many ways, the reaction to this decision mirrored the broader debate about the role of the royal family in modern society. On one hand, there were those who believed that the monarchy should evolve to reflect contemporary values and attitudes. On the other hand, there were those who felt that the monarchy's traditions should be preserved and that any deviation from the established norms was a threat to the institution's integrity. The removal of Archie and Lilibet's royal titles served as a focal point for this larger debate, with the media and the public weighing in on both sides. For Prince William, the press and public opinion were both a blessing and a curse. On the one hand, the media coverage helped to reinforce his vision for a modernized monarchy. By framing the decision as part of a larger effort to streamline the royal family, the press helped to validate William's decision and position him as a forward-thinking leader who was unafraid to challenge tradition. On the other hand, the public backlash, particularly from Harry and Meghan's supporters, made it clear that such decisions would not be without consequences. Ultimately, the press and public opinion played a crucial role in shaping the narrative surrounding the removal of Archie and Lilibet's royal titles. The media's portrayal of the event helped to amplify its emotional impact, while the public's divided response showed just how deeply the monarchy's traditions are ingrained in British society. Whether the decision was seen as a necessary step forward or a punitive act against two innocent children, it was clear that the future of the monarchy was being shaped by the court of public opinion, and the media was playing a central role in determining how that future would unfold. The decision to remove the royal from the titles of Archie and Lilibet represents far more than just a bureaucratic move within the royal family. For the children of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, this action marks a profound shift in their lives and their place within the royal framework. Titles in the royal family are not merely honorary. They are part of a carefully constructed public identity. To be born a royal means that your life is not entirely your own. Every moment is scrutinized, every action analyzed, and every title carries the weight of history and duty. Now, with the removal of their royal titles, Archie and Lilibet face a dramatically altered future. At the heart of this change is the issue of identity. From the moment they were born, both Archie and Lilibet were considered to be part of the royal family's future. As the children of Prince Harry, who was sixth in line to the throne, they held a place in the royal line of succession. They were born into a world of privilege, with their titles reflecting their connection to the British monarchy. But now, with those titles stripped away, what does the future hold for them? For many, the immediate assumption is that Archie and Lilibet will lead more private lives, free from the intense public scrutiny that comes with being a royal. Without the royal titles, they will no longer be expected to fulfill the duties associated with their positions within the royal family. This, in theory, should allow them more freedom to pursue their own interests and live outside the watchful eyes of the public and the press. They may no longer be subject to the same expectations that come with being titled members of the royal family, which could offer them a sense of liberation that their parents have long sought. However, this freedom comes at a cost. While Archie and Lilibet may gain the ability to live more privately, the decision to remove their titles also places them in a peculiar position. They will always be the children of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, whose departure from royal duties has been one of the most publicly discussed events in recent royal history. The narrative surrounding their birth, their titles, and now the stripping of those titles will likely follow them for the rest of their lives. No matter how much they might try to carve out their own paths, they will always be seen as the children of the controversial couple who left the royal family. The psychological and emotional impact of this change on Archie and Lilibet is difficult to predict. While they are still young and likely unaware of the full scope of the situation, they will one day come to understand the significance of what has transpired. As they grow older, they may come to realize that their place within the royal family has been dramatically altered, not by anything they did, but by the actions of their parents and the decisions made by the family they were born into. The loss of their royal titles could lead to feelings of confusion, alienation, or even resentment, especially if they are ever exposed to the intense public and media scrutiny that has surrounded their parents. For Meghan and Harry, the implications are even more personal. They have already expressed frustration with the constraints of royal life, and this decision to remove their children's titles likely feels like another blow in an ongoing battle for independence. Since stepping down from royal duties, the couple has worked hard to build their own brand, advocating for causes they believe in and attempting to distance themselves from the royal family's influence. The removal of their children's titles, however, threatens to undo some of that progress. For Harry and Meghan, the titles were a symbol of their family's connection to the monarchy, whether they wanted it or not. The decision to strip those titles away underscores the extent to which their children are now outside of the royal fold. This shift in their titles also raises questions about their future prospects. Without the royal label, will Archie and Lilibet ever be able to reclaim their connection to the royal family? As the grandchildren of the reigning monarch, they are still part of the royal family in a broader sense, but the removal of their titles places them in a more ambiguous position. Unlike other members of the royal family, who hold official titles and perform royal duties, Archie and Lilibet will no longer have the same public recognition as their cousins. Their lives will likely be less defined by the strict roles and expectations that come with being a royal, but they may also feel excluded from a world they were born into. The decision also raises important questions about the future of the monarchy itself. The British royal family has long been an institution that is defined by its members' titles and their connection to the throne. The removal of these titles from Archie and Lilibet signals a departure from that tradition, and it may represent a larger shift in the way the monarchy will operate in the future. If other children of royals are also subject to the same rules and restrictions, the monarchy could be fundamentally changed. The decision to reduce the number of royal titles is a symbolic gesture, but it carries significant weight in terms of how the public will view the royal family moving forward. The long-term impact of this decision on Archie and Lilibet's relationship with the monarchy remains to be seen. On one hand, they may grow up with a greater sense of autonomy and independence, free from the expectations placed on them as royal children. On the other hand, the loss of their titles could leave them feeling disconnected from a world that is, for better or worse, deeply ingrained in British society. They will likely face unique challenges as they try to navigate their identities as part of the royal family without the privileges that come with a royal title. What is certain, however, is that the royal family's decision to strip the titles will affect Archie and Lilibet in ways that are impossible to predict. The royal titles were more than just names. They were symbols of the family's place within the British monarchy and the broader world. Now that those titles are gone, the children are left to figure out what role they will play in the world moving forward. Whether they choose to embrace their royal heritage or distance themselves entirely from the monarchy, their futures will be shaped by the actions taken today. For the monarchy, the decision to remove the titles may ultimately prove to be a necessary one. By simplifying the hierarchy and limiting the number of royals with official titles, the institution may be better equipped to function in a modern world where the expectations of the public and the media are constantly evolving. However, for Archie and Lilibet, the implications of this change are personal and profound. They will grow up with a unique set of circumstances, one that will define their relationship with the monarchy and with the world around them. Only time will tell whether this decision will lead to a brighter future or if it will leave them with a sense of lost opportunity as they are forced to live in the shadow of a royal legacy that no longer defines them in the way it once did. Prince William's decision to remove the royal from Archie and Lilibet's titles is not just a symbolic gesture. It is part of a larger, calculated strategy to reshape the monarchy's future. While the immediate impact of this decision has been felt within the royal family and the public, its strategic significance cannot be overstated. The move to strip Archie and Lilibet of their royal titles is not just about the Sussexes or their children. It is a reflection of Prince William's vision for a more streamlined and modern monarchy, one that is better equipped to face the challenges of the 21st century. At the heart of this strategic decision is the concept of institutional survival. The monarchy, despite its long history, is no longer the powerful political force it once was. Today, it is primarily a symbolic institution, one that must adapt to survive in a world where traditional systems of power are increasingly questioned. The decision to remove the royal titles from Archie and Lilibet is part of a broader effort to ensure that the monarchy remains relevant and respected in a rapidly changing society. For Prince William, this is a delicate balancing act. As the future king, he must navigate the fine line between maintaining the monarchy's historical traditions and modernizing it to meet the demands of the public. This shift in royal titles is a strategic move designed to signal to the world that the monarchy is evolving. It suggests that royal titles should not be automatically conferred based solely on birthright, but should instead be linked to the individual's role within the institution and their commitment to public service. This decision is also a response to the growing public desire for a more egalitarian monarchy. Over the years, there has been increasing pressure on the royal family to simplify its hierarchy and reduce the number of working royals. With the rise of social media and the constant scrutiny of royal life, the public has become more vocal in calling for a monarchy that is less defined by inherited titles and more focused on actual duties. Prince William's move to remove the royal label from his niece and nephew is a clear indication that he is listening to this call and is willing to make tough decisions to ensure that the monarchy is better aligned with contemporary values. Moreover, this decision is part of William's broader vision for the future of the monarchy. As the next in line for the throne, he understands that the royal family must remain an institution that serves the public, rather than one that is solely focused on maintaining its own privileges. By removing the titles, he is signaling that the monarchy's future will be shaped by those who are dedicated to the service of the nation, rather than by those who simply happen to be born into it. Prince William's strategic move also reflects the changing nature of the royal family's relationship with the media. In recent years, the royal family has been under intense scrutiny, with every action, every statement, and every decision being analyzed and dissected by the press. The media has become an inescapable force in shaping public opinion, and the royal family must now navigate this environment with caution. By removing Archie and Lilibet's titles, Prince William is taking control of the narrative, showing that the royal family is not afraid to make bold decisions, even if they are controversial. At the same time, this decision sends a clear message about the family's unity and hierarchy. The royal family is built on a clear structure of authority, with the monarch at the top and the line of succession determining the roles and responsibilities of each family member. By removing titles, Prince William is reaffirming the importance of maintaining this structure. The decision to strip the titles from his niece and nephew may seem harsh, but it is also a way of ensuring that the monarchy remains focused on its core values and is not diluted by unnecessary titles or figures. Another key element of this strategic move is the way it aligns with Prince William's long-term goals for the royal family. In recent years, William has gradually taken on more responsibility within the monarchy, assuming a greater leadership role in royal duties. This move to remove titles from Archie and Lilibet could be seen as part of a broader effort to assert his authority within the family and to solidify his position as the future king. By making a bold decision like this, William is showing that he is willing to make tough choices for the greater good of the monarchy. This decision also has political implications, particularly in relation to Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. The rift between Harry and the rest of the royal family has been widely documented, and this move could be interpreted as a direct response to their departure from royal duties. By stripping their children of their titles, Prince William is reinforcing the notion that the royal family is a place of duty, not privilege. It is a subtle reminder that those who wish to remain part of the family must adhere to its rules and traditions, while those who choose to break away will face consequences. Furthermore, this move highlights the generational divide within the royal family. While Prince Charles and Queen Elizabeth II have long upheld the traditions of the monarchy, Prince William represents a younger generation of royals who are more willing to challenge the status quo. The removal of the titles from Archie and Lilibet signifies a departure from the old ways and a move toward a monarchy that is more in touch with modern expectations. It is a shift from the idea of inherited privilege to one of earned responsibility, a message that could resonate with a public that is increasingly skeptical of the royal family's role. Ultimately, this decision is about securing the future of the monarchy. Prince William's strategic move is a reflection of his commitment to ensuring that the royal family remains a respected institution for generations to come. While the decision to remove the titles may have been controversial, it is part of a larger effort to modernize the monarchy and make it more relevant to contemporary society. By making this move, Prince William is signaling that he is ready to take the reins of the monarchy and lead it into a new era, one that is defined by service, responsibility, and a willingness to adapt to the changing world around it. In the end, the removal of Archie and Lilibet's royal titles is a move that will have far-reaching consequences for the monarchy. It is a decision that reflects Prince William's vision for the future and his commitment to shaping the royal family into an institution that is in line with the values and expectations of the modern world. Whether or not this decision will be seen as a success in the long term remains to be seen, but it is clear that Prince William's strategic approach is part of a broader effort to ensure the monarchy's survival and relevance in the years to come. While the decision to strip Archie and Lilibet of their royal titles has been met with strong reactions within the United Kingdom, its impact extends far beyond British shores. The British monarchy, while primarily concerned with domestic affairs, has long been an international symbol, with its influence spanning across the Commonwealth and even beyond. The move to remove the royal titles of Archie and Lilibet is not just a domestic issue. It carries significant international implications, particularly for those countries and territories that recognize the British monarch as their head of state. The Commonwealth, a voluntary association of 56 independent countries, many of which were formerly part of the British Empire, has long had a special relationship with the British monarchy. For many of these countries, the monarchy represents a connection to Britain's past and a symbol of continuity and stability. The decision to strip titles from the grandchildren of Prince Harry, who, despite his controversial departure from royal duties, still carries significant public recognition, has sparked concern in some Commonwealth countries. The move has been perceived by some as a potential shift in the monarchy's approach to its relationship with these nations. Countries like Canada, Australia, and New Zealand, which are constitutional monarchies with the British monarch as their ceremonial head of state, may see the removal of Archie and Lilibet's royal titles as a sign of a changing monarchy. For these countries, the monarchy has always been more than a figurehead. It represents a connection to Britain, a symbol of historical ties. In recent years, however, there has been increasing discussion about whether these nations should continue to recognize the British monarch as their head of state. Some political leaders in these countries have advocated for republicanism, arguing that it's time to move beyond the monarchy and establish a head of state who is more representative of the nation's values and identity. The decision to strip royal titles from Archie and Lilibet could, in some circles, be interpreted as a sign that the British monarchy is becoming more distant and less relevant to the Commonwealth's future. For some, this action may be seen as a further indication that the monarchy is no longer as invested in the international ties that once helped define its role. This decision, while seemingly domestic in nature, may be seen as part of a broader trend of the monarchy becoming more insular and less connected to its former colonies. For those countries within the Commonwealth that are already questioning their ties to the British monarchy, the title change could serve as another reason to rethink their relationship with the Crown. Moreover, this decision also raises questions about the future of the Commonwealth itself. The Commonwealth was built on shared values and mutual respect between its member states, and the British monarchy has long served as a unifying figure for the organization. However, as the world has become more globalized, and as many countries have grown increasingly independent from their colonial past, the question of the monarchy's relevance in this context has come into sharper focus. The removal of Archie and Lilibet's titles could be seen as yet another sign that the monarchy's global influence is waning, making it more difficult to maintain its position as the symbolic head of the Commonwealth. Beyond the Commonwealth, the global reaction to the title change has also been shaped by the media's coverage of the situation. In many countries, particularly those in Europe and the United States, the British royal family is an enduring symbol of tradition, spectacle, and intrigue. The decision to remove Archie and Lilibet's royal titles has garnered significant attention, with many seeing it as another dramatic chapter in the ongoing saga of the royal family's internal conflicts. For some international observers, this decision reinforces the perception of the British monarchy as an institution that is increasingly out of touch with the modern world, one that is overly concerned with preserving tradition at the cost of adapting to the changing global landscape. The United States, where Meghan Markle and Prince Harry have become prominent public figures, has closely followed this story, as it directly involves two of its most famous expatriates. The American public's interest in the royal family, particularly in the Sussexes, has been intense since their departure from the UK in 2020. In the US, there is a strong sense of personal identification with Meghan and Harry, particularly given Meghan's American background and the couple's outspoken stance on social issues. For many Americans, the removal of their children's royal titles is seen as a further indication of the British royal family's rigid structure and the ways in which it punishes those who seek to chart their own course outside of tradition. In the US media, the story of Archie and Lilibet's title change has been framed as another example of the monarchy's inflexibility, reinforcing the idea that Harry and Meghan's decision to leave was, in part, a response to a system that is unwilling to change. For many in the U.S., the royal family's refusal to acknowledge their desire for independence has only deepened their sympathy for the couple. The removal of their children's titles is, to some, another example of a deeply entrenched institution attempting to punish those who challenge its norms. On the other hand, there are also those in the U.S. who view the monarchy's decision as a natural consequence of the couple's departure from royal duties. From this perspective, Archie and Lilibet's title removal is seen as a logical step in the royal family's effort to maintain its traditional structure. In this light, the media narrative focuses on the monarchy's need to preserve its integrity and ensure that only those who are actively involved in royal duties maintain the titles associated with the family. For countries outside of the Commonwealth, the removal of Archie and Lilibet's royal titles is not likely to have the same immediate political ramifications. However, it does reinforce the idea that the British monarchy is an institution defined by its own internal rules and traditions, and that these traditions are not necessarily in line with the values of modern society. The monarchy's decision to strip the titles from Archie and Lilibet has highlighted the ways in which the royal family is grappling with its role in a world that is increasingly questioning the relevance of hereditary privilege. In conclusion, the international repercussions